Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Te Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Sarini.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ramindar Madhusudan Prabhu and Priyanka Radha Mataji. So continuing to discuss on the impact and influence of the three modes in practically every aspect of our life. We see in this chapter from verse number 20 to 40, Krishna is detailing about the influence of the three modes. If you see the final section of Bhagavad-Gita, the final 6 chapters, which are entitled as Jnana Yoga. So this is what Krishna is emphasizing here, that how the living entity in this human form of life, he gets entangled, he gets conditioned, or he gets enslaved by the influence of the three modes. And not only that, Krishna is not only diagnosing the disease, but Krishna is also giving the solution as to how he can get release. Very important, how he can be released. Interestingly, I was seeing the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also just 10 minutes back. I have read that chapter before also. In the 11th canto, Krishna gives a very detailed discourse on the three modes. What we have just discussed, that how these 3 items, knowledge, action, and the doer. So how a practitioner, he is beyond the influence of the mode. It will be very relevant to share from the 11th canto the same items what Krishna has discussed here in this 18th chapter. I'm sharing some of it and then we will continue. So this chapter is entitled The Three Modes of Nature and Beyond. Very important. The 3 modes of nature are there, but in human form of life, one has the opportunity to go beyond. So I'll take from the verse 23. Krishna says, Mad arpanam nishpalam va satvikam mij karmatat rajasam pala sankalpam himsa prayadi tamasam. So we saw that how intelligence and also how work and the worker and the action, how they are all influenced by the modes. So here Krishna is speaking to Uddhava. This is called Bhagavad-Gita. This section of Srimad Bhagavatam is called Bhagavad-Gita. So Krishna is just detailing much more in length than what he spoke to Arjuna. Because with Arjuna, he had very less time. Just 40 minutes to speak the entire Gita. But here, he has abundant time. So Krishna is saying, work performed as an offering to me, without consideration of the fruit, is considered to be in the mode of goodness. Mad arpanam nishphalam va. That means it is free from reaction. Nishphalam means it is not that it will not give fruit, but it will not give any reaction. Work performed with a desire to enjoy the result is in the mode of passion. See how much Krishna has summarized it very precisely. And work impelled by violence and envy is in the mode of ignorance. The ordinary work performed as an offering to God without desire for the results is understood to be in the mode of goodness, whereas activity of devotion, such as chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, are transcendental form of work beyond the modes of nature. Then Krishna is emphasizing on Gyan, knowledge. So this is the three things we discussed: knowledge, action, and doer or karta. Jnanam, karya, and karta. Same Krishna is emphasizing here. Kevalyam satvikam jnanam rajo vaikalpikam chayat prakatim tamasa jnanam mananishtam nirgunam smitam. Absolute knowledge is in the mode of goodness. Knowledge about Brahma Gyan. Knowledge based on duality is in the mode of passion. And foolish materialistic knowledge is in the mode of ignorance. Knowledge based upon me, however, is understood to be transcendental. Then very interesting, Krishna says that Vanam tu satvikam vaso Ramo rajasa uchyate tamasam dyuta sadhanam and mananiketana tu nirgunam. So please see, very interesting. The place of residence also determines in which mode we are. Residence in the forest is in the mode of goodness, Vana. And what is the foremost Vana for us? Vrindavan. Vrindavan. That is in the mode of goodness. Residence in a town is in the mode of passion. And residence in the gambling house display the quality of ignorance. And residence in a place where I reside is transcendent. And this is very, very inspiring. That is why all devotees who do not live in temple, they are recommended to have deities. They must have Vigraha. And they must worship the Vigraha to make their place also become transcendental. What Krishna is speaking here, the place of my residence is transcendental. So as you have deities, that place becomes transcendental. If you are properly serving and observing. Then again Krishna is speaking about that worker or doer. Satka karko sangi ragandho rajasasmita tamasasmiti vibhrashto nirgunamat apashraya. A worker free of attachment is in the mode of goodness. A worker binded by personal desire is in the mode of passion. And worker who has completely forgotten how to tell right from wrong is in the mode of ignorance. But a worker who has taken shelter of me is understood to be transcendental to the mode of nature. What is the verse? Krishna says that one who has taken shelter of me is transcendental to modes of nature or to transcendental to material nature. Which verse? Very famous verse from Bhagavad-Gita. Boliye. Why only one? Only there Shri Prabhu knows. Which verse is this? Pradeep Prabhu. Which verse Krishna is declaring? Quickly. You have less time and more to cover. You know the verse. You have to just connect. You are not getting my voice, Pradeep?
Prabhuji, I am getting, but I could not.
Okay, there, Shri Prabhu. Speak quickly. Not able to hear. बोलिए दयाशील प्रभु. Ramya, you want to speak? Please speak. Voice is not coming. Can anyone hear?
No, Prabhuji.
नहीं, आवाज नहीं आ रहा आपका दयाशील प्रभु. रम्या माता जी की आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. अनम्यूट करो ना. You are muted. अभी भी नहीं आया. हाँ बोलिए. नहीं, आज इंटरनेट स्टेबल नहीं है, आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. यस. देवी एषा मम्मयि, देवी एषा मम्मयि मद माया दुरत्या. मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते माया मेताम तरन्ति. So the only way to transcend the mode is to surrender to Krishna. The one who has taken shelter of me is understood to be in the transcendental to the modes of nature. So the purport says that transcendental worker performs his activity in strict accordance with the direction of Lord Krishna and the Lord's bona fide representative. Taking shelter of Lord's guidance, such a worker remains transcendental to the material modes of nature. Then Krishna talks about faith. Satviki, Adhyatmiki, Shraddha, Karma Shraddha, Sturajasi, Tamasi, Adharme, Yo Shraddha, Matsevaya, Nurguna. Faith directed towards spiritual life is in the mode of goodness. Faith rooted in fruitive activity is in the mode of passion, and faith residing in irreligious activity is in the mode of ignorance. But faith in my devotional service is purely transcendental. It's very important. As we develop faith in performing service, we are becoming free. Then the next item, food. We have discussed that. Food that is wholesome, pure, and obtained without difficulty is in the mode of goodness. Food that gives immediate pleasure to the senses is in the mode of passion, and food that is unclean and causes distress is in the mode of ignorance. So here comes the verse today. Okay. Satvikam, so that we will discuss next. Lord, happiness. Okay. So I'll stop here. So three things Krishna has explained here. Jnanam, karma, and karta. And yesterday what we discussed, Krishna is talking about next two items in the three modes: intelligence and determination. So we covered intelligence. Anyone will speak? What is the characteristic of intelligence which is in the mode of goodness? Quickly, recap, and then we move forward. Intelligence in the mode of goodness. Why others don't want to speak? Pradeep, I will not accept this. Yesterday you attended the class. Yes or no? 1 hour we discussed. What is the intelligence? What is the sign of intelligence which is in the mode of goodness? No. Everything you cannot be blank. Then there is no enthusiasm to speak and teach, and when one is people is not accepting the knowledge which is being given. Unless and until you speak, I will not move forward. Pradeep, you don't want to speak?
Yes. Prabhuji, actually, I could not hear you. Actually, there is some voice
I am
was breaking.
asking what is the characteristic of intelligence which is in the mode of goodness. Yesterday we discussed and spent so much time. Devotees have given write-ups also. At least this much recall or memory we should maintain while studying Shastra. What we discussed yesterday from the intelligence which is in the mode of goodness.
Studying scriptures, Prabhuji. Studying scriptures.
Huh?
Studying scriptures in the mode of goodness.
No. Why did not discuss studying scripture yesterday? That means you don't pay attention and you never revise. Then only chapters will be over. You will not be able to get anything from them. Boliye, Ganesh Babu.
Prabhuji, those who are in the mode of goodness, they will distinguish whether what should be done, what should not be done.
Very
And,
good. Best is to quote, pravrittim cha, nivrittim cha. Yes. So they have the quality of discrimination. Very important. So they can know what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is dharma, what is the dharma, what is duty, what is to be feared, what is not to be feared. So all that they can do. Okay, now we will come today on the next item, which is determination. First Krishna is speaking about intelligence. Now Krishna is speaking about determination. Verse number 33. Dhrityaya dharete mana pranindriya kriya yogena avyabhicharinya tisa parth satviki. What is determination? A characteristic of intelligence. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable. Yaya dharete, which is unbreakable. That is, which does not change or which does not get dissolved, which is sustained with steadfastness, yoga practice. yogena avyabhicharinya, and which controls the activity, and very important. Ditya yaya dharete mana pran indriye kriya. That determination, see, very important, which controls the activities of the mind. When determination is steadfast, if it's strong, it controls the mind, the activities of the mind. But in normal course, our controls are determination. And that is why the determination is weak. We give up. We are not able to improve or advance. Controls mind, life and senses. So very important word is Yog Avyabhicharena. So Prabhupada is talking about yoga. He says yoga is a means to understand the Supreme Soul. Yoga that we understand, or the modern people think that yoga. What is that? That is only Prabhupada is clarifying yoga is a means to understand the Supreme Soul, connection of the soul with the Supreme Soul. One who is steadily fixed in the Supreme Soul with determination, life and sensory activity of the Supreme, engages in Krishna consciousness. People keep falling down. Why? Because they are not fixed. Here Prabhupada is saying one who is steadily fixed in the Supreme Soul with determination, sensory activity of the Supreme, engages in Krishna consciousness. The word avyabhicharanya is very significant. For it indicates that person who are in Krishna consciousness are never deviated by any other activity. That means he only does one thing. What is that one thing? He only engages in loving devotional service. And he never ever gives up his faith, his trust in Krishna. He never approaches anyone else. And the classic example of it is the Brajvasis. Whatever calamity came, whatever disturbance came, whatever impediment came, they just looked upon Krishna. And they just loved and worshipped Krishna. No one else was there in their life. Oh, that kind of determination is in the mode of goodness. Next, in of passion. Yayatu dharma kamarthan vidya dharyate arjuna ena palakamshi iti saparth rajasi. Yayatu dharma kamarthan. Why do people follow dharma? Is to fulfill their kama. Called dharma, kama and moksha. Why do people follow dharma? To get artha, economic development. And why do they need economic development? For sense gratification. So here it is being said, but that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification. It is dharma, religion, economic development is artha, and kama is sense gratification. of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Any person who is always desirous of fruitive results in religious or economic activities, whose only desire is sense gratification, and whose mind, life, and senses are thus engaged in the mode of passion. So the focus in passion is sense gratification. So he uses dharma to fulfill his means. How? By economic gains, but ultimately engages in sense gratification. And the determination that is influenced by the ignorance, yaya swapanam bhayam shokam vishadam madam evacha navimuchyati durmedha dritisa parth tamasi. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming. Many times people are working with dreams. They have nothing to do with reality. They are just dreaming. They are just perceiving, which has no connection with the factuality. So that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. Such intelligence, determination, O son of Partha, is in the mode of darkness. Is it clear? Or should I explain more? First thing is swapnam. People are very much caught in their own dreams and desires. That is the first symbol of one whose determination is influenced by the mode of passion. That they cannot go on dreaming. Also, they have bhayam because of attachment. They don't want to lose, or they cannot afford to lose. And they have lamentation. Bhayam for what? For what they have, they might not lose. And lamentation for what? They do not. Character of
Not very clearly audible, Prabhuji.
Not clearly audible.
Yeah. At least I did not hear last 2-3 sentences.
What about others? Are you able to hear me?
Prabhuji, your voice is breaking, so much breaking.
Yes, no.
Only we heard this yes or no, nothing in between.
Hare Krishna. If that
Yes,
is the
we are
case, then
able
I will not audible. Then I will log out and again join in. Let me see. Just remain. Hare Krishna. Is it some better now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Krishna continues to enlighten us on the various characteristics. So here he is speaking about determination, which is in the mode of passion. So here Krishna is speaking that determination will not go beyond dreaming. That means the person is not in the reality of his life. Fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. 5 aspects: dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. Such intelligent determination of son of Partha is in the mode of darkness. So see, Krishna is giving us the insight. Krishna is giving us the details of the software which run a program of life, how it operates. It should not be concluded that a person in the mode of goodness does not dream. Here, dream means too much sleep. Dream means too much sleep. Dreaming is always present, either in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. Dreaming is a natural occurrence, but those who cannot avoid oversleeping, who cannot avoid the pride of enjoying material objects, those who are always dreaming of lording it over the material world, whose life, mind, and senses are thus engaged, are considered to have determination in the mode of goodness. Any question on this? Yes, Devadatta.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी जैसे पिछले पिछले श्लोका में कल जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया था, नॉलेज इन मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस, तो यहाँ पे जो डिटर्मिनेशन का जो टर्म यहाँ पे जो मेन है कि डिटर्मिनेशन इन इग्नोरेंस, तो डिटर्मिनेशन में भी तो हम सिमिलर टाइप की चीजें बोल कर रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पे
I told you.
जो डिटर्मिनेशन
No.
से यहाँ पे क्या मीन कर रहे हैं?
Determination means one's dhriti. Determination is a product of one's intelligence. Sankalp Shakti. Or Ichha Shakti. Get it? So it results from intelligence. Once whose intelligence is pure, you see the determination of Srila Prabhupada. So many reverses came in his life. His life is full of reverses. Nobody cooperated. Nothing went right. He had such hard struggle from 1922 to 1966. But because of his determination, his enthusiasm was never affected. Rather, it was even more intensified. So determination is the characteristic of one person's consciousness level. What level of consciousness he has. It is also a symbol of one's intelligence level. Okay. And most importantly, determination means Shakti, the Sankalpa Shakti. Is that clear?
प्रभु जी।
So, but those who cannot avoid oversleeping and cannot avoid the pride of enjoying material objects, they are always dreaming of lording it over the material world. What it does mean? That always dreaming to lording it over the material world.
Basically, one doesn't take any action, just is limited to dreaming of doing it.
Lording it over Prabhupada. He is thinking himself as master and he is also thinking himself as enjoyer. And of course, he considers himself as controller. And whose life, mind, and senses are thus engaged are considered to have determination in the mode of ignorance. This is ignorance. Yeah, previously we discussed Rajasi. Rajasi is dharma, artha, and kama. No moksha. See, there is no aspiration of moksha. Actually, the aspiration is of kama. And what they take support of dharma. to have artha so that they can enjoy Kama. So I'll stop here. Next is the happiness. Well, let us take it. We have time. Let us discuss this also. Now the next item is happiness. Sukham tva idanin trividham shunu me bharata rishabha abhyasad rate yatra sukhantam cha nigachati. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the kinds of happiness by which the condition enjoys and by which sometimes come to the end of all distress. A conditioned soul tries to enjoy the material happiness again and again. Thus he chooses the tube. Sometimes in the course of such enjoyment, he becomes relieved from material entanglement by association with the great soul. So this is one purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, very famous verse from Prahlad Maharaj about material happiness. And Prabhupada says he chooses the tube. He tries to find happiness in what he has already done before. Same act. Which verse is this? Very famous verse in the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. Bolo, Puna Puna Charvita Charvana now. One is trying in this material life, he is trying to chew what he has already chewed. That means it is dry. It is without any juice. Best of the Bharatas, please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and thus by sometimes come to the end of all distress. Okay. Course of such enjoyment become relieved from the material entanglement by association with a condition engaged in some type of sense gratification. But when he understands, see, conditioned soul and sense gratification are actually inseparable. Condition for sense gratification. But when he understands that it is only a repetition of the same thing, and he is awakened to his real Krishna consciousness. So actually understanding that awakening comes, so he will not become serious. He is sometimes called serious. How? By the dint of the good taste. The next two verses also. Yat tat agre vishameva pariname amritoksamam tat sukham satvikam proktam. That which in the beginning may, but at the end is just like nectar. And awakens one to the self-realization is said to be the happiness in the mode of goodness. The Krishna is talking about happiness. Saying that happiness which may seem in the beginning to be as bitter as poison. In pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and the senses to concentrate the mind on the self. All these procedures are very different. Bitter like poison. But if one is successful in following the regulations and come to the transcendental position, he begins to drink real nectar and he enjoys life. Okay. That which may seem like poison at the beginning. Why? Because there are so many regulations. And with the regulation comes so many doors and more than do's, 10 times more rules. Not to do this, not to do that. So the child says, what I do? If I don't get anything to play. So, but here it is saying that Atma Buddhi Prasadam. Yeah, I'm feeling very sleepy, I'm feeling very tired. Somehow I'll take one more verse. Two more. And then this section will be finished. Vishendriye Sniyoga Tattat Agre Amritopama Pariname Vishameva Tatsukam Raja Samsmitam. That happiness is derived from the contact of the senses with their object. Vishay Indriye Samyoga. Vishay means the objects of the senses, the sense objects. And Indriya means senses. So when the senses come in contact with the sense objects, so what is the outcome? The outcome is Sanyoga. That happiness which is derived from the contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first, but then at the end is said to be in the nature of passion. Prabhupada explains the purport. A young man and a young woman meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and to have sexual intercourse. In the beginning, this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, or after some time, it becomes just like poison. They are separated, or there is a divorce. There is lamentation, there is sorrow, etc. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. Happiness derived from the combination of the senses with such a sense object is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all. This is the word of talk. One more verse, 39th verse. Yad agre chanubandhe cha sukham mohanam atmana nidralasya pramadotam tattamasam udharitam. And that happiness which binds to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. Okay, you have to please again read it carefully. I am not in a normal situation. Delusion from beginning to end and which arises from sleep. But early to sleep is not delusion because it will enable the practitioner to wake up early. Best is if you can sleep. That is the best. There are a lot of activity happening. So one who takes pleasure in laziness and in sleep. How much Krishna is emphasizing on sleep in this section of Bhagavad-Gita when he's talking about modes. Krishna is emphasizing laziness and in sleep is who has how to act and how not to act is also in the mode of ignorance. After hearing this, my sleep is gone. For the person in the mode of ignorance, everything is illusion. There is no happiness either in the beginning or at the end. For the person in the mode of passion, there might be some kind of ephemeral happiness beginning and at the end distress. But for the person in the mode of ignorance, there is only distress both in the beginning and at the end. Prabhupada does not talk about a person in the mode of goodness. Why? Goodness, he will experience some happiness. Okay, I'll stop here. Any discussion or question? So the section of the mode is over. The influences by the mode. So Krishna is again section of the 18th chapter. Hare Krishna. Pradeep, you have memorized the 15th chapter.
Yes, Prabhu.
So we will not see the text. You please recite.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamulam Adashakam Ashvatam Prahuraviyam Chandam Shiesha Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavid Adascha Urdhvam Prasasta Stashishaka Guna Pravarta Vishaya Pravallaha Adascha Mulani Anusantatani Karma Nubandini Manushya Loke Narupamase Hatotopya Labhyate Nanto Nachadirnacha Sampratishtita Ashwaddam Yenam Suviruda Moolam Nasanga Shastrena Dridena Chitva Tata Padam Tat Parimarkitavyam Yashmin Gatana Nirvartanti Bhuyaha Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yata Pravarta Prasasta Purani Nirmana Moha Jatasanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritti Kamaha Dvandeir Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Samgnair Gasyantya Muda Padamavyam Tat Natad Bhashyate Shuryo Na Shashanko Na Pavaka Yadgatvana Nirvartante Taddama Paramam Mama Mamivamsho Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana Manasasthani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati Shariram Yadavapnoti Yaschapi Vukramatishvara
Yachapi Pramata Ishvara.
Grihadvaitan Samyati Vayurgandan Yavashayat Potram Shikshushu Sparshanam Cha Rasanam Grahanam Eva Cha Adhishtaya Manasachayam Vishayanupasevate Mukramantam Sitam Vapi Bunjanam Va Gunanvitam Vimudanan Pashyanti Jnana Yatanto yogina shainam pashyanti atmani avasthitam yatanto apyakratmano nainam pashyanti achetasa yadaditya gatam tejo jagatpashyate akilam yaschandramshi yaschagno tattejo vitti mamakam gama vishcha bhutani dharyami ahamojasa paushnami chaushadisa sarva सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मका अहम वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रिता प्राण समायुक्ता पश्यामि अन्नं चतुर्विधं सर्वश्च चाहं हृदसन्निविष्टो मत्ता स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत् वेदविदेव चाहं द्वाविमौ पुरुषो लोके चराचक्षर एव च क्षरा सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थो अक्षर उच्यते उत्तमं पुरुषस्तु अन्यः परमात्मेति उदारता यो लोकत्रयम् अविश्य विवर्ति अव्यईश्वर यस्माक्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादि अपि चोत्तम अतोऽस्मि लोकवेदे च
अक्षरादपि चोत्तम यस्माक्षरमतीतो हम
अक्षरादपि
अक्षरादपि
चोत्तम
चोत्तम चोत्तम
अतोऽस्मि
पुरुषोत्तम
अतोऽस्मि लोकवेदे च
अस्मि लोकवेदे च
यो माम् एवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं सा सर्वविद्धि
जानाति
भजति
पुरुषोत्तम यो माम एवं असम्मूढ़ो. So Krishna is
जानाति
summarizing now. After speaking all these things, that yo mam evam asammudo, one who knows me in this way without any delusion or bewilderment. Janati Purushottama. So what he does? Sa sarvid bhajati ma sarva bhavena bharata. Final verse.
इति
Iti
गुह्यतमं
guhyatamam shastram.
शास्त्रम् इदं मुक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्धवा बुद्धिमानः कृतार्थश्च भारत.
Very good. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow will be the spiritual scientist class at IERI. Krishna willing. So we will not continue the 18th chapter. There we will continue the 14th chapter, but Sunday we will continue. Okay. Because we have very less time and still we have covered more than half now. We have covered till 39. It has 78. Exactly half. Half we have done. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai.